Welcome to Legacy Battle. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, notification button. I'm Michael Adams. Joining me tonight is co-host Brian King, Rollo Coughlin. We've got a career interview for you. We are joined by a former professional tennis player with, I've got 245 career victories. There may be a few more there. We got 4 WTA titles, a member of Team Canada's 1988 Olympic team. Now she's a pickleballer, which we see that happening more and more. We want to welcome
Yeah, baby.
Canadian Tennis Hall of Famer Carling Bassett. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you so much for having me. Great.
Rollo, start us out tonight.
Carling, when you were 15, you
hmm
entered a Wimbledon tournament that had the likes of Martina Navratilova, Chris Evert, and the GOAT Billie Jean King and Pam
Yeah.
Shriver, among others. You reached the fourth round of that tournament. At any point were you starstruck, and what helped you
No.
focus on that run to the fourth round?
I never was starstruck because I never liked tennis, really. I never like, when you're a kid and you love something and you follow players and you follow what you love. I mean, I didn't love it. I mean, I was kind of thrown into it. And so I never watched tennis. I mean, that was the last thing I did on like in my spare time. So no, I always knew like I was good. I mean, and where that happened was when I came to Bolletari's at 11. I just turned 11. I'd lost 6-0, 6-0, and 6-1, 6-0 in the back draw in the national 12s that summer. 6 months later, I played that tournament. I won singles and doubles. And then I thought to myself, wow, if you can do that here, then maybe we could go a little further. And by the time I was 13, I was number one in Canada in the women's. And then I traveled to all junior Wimbledon, junior French, junior US Open. There was always a lot of attention behind me just because I was so young and Canadian and from a good family. So it all kind of became kind of normal. Like, I mean, I expected to do well. It wasn't until like I got into addictions and things like that that kind of like became extremely turbulent, but I still managed to function pretty highly in them and still compete, which is really, really amazing when I think about it now, because I couldn't do that now.
So, I mean, that kind of segues into my question, Carling. By the age of 16, you had been ranked number 2 junior tennis player in the world. You'd made it to the U.S. Open Finals. You were working as a fashion model, and you did a little acting too, appearing in the film Spring Fever. So, how were you able to juggle all this and still be successful?
I have a lot of energy. I mean, I just think I just go. That's the way I do now. I go, go, go. I've been up since 3:30. I'm training my serves at 6 a.m. in the dark. Then went to and played another 2.5 hours at DTC, came back, been kind of relaxing a little because I have a lot of kids. We don't have school today, but yeah, I just roll like that. I always have. And then when I crash, I crash. It's like when I go to sleep, nobody can touch me for 2 hours. I mean, they could put a bomb off and I wouldn't even hear it. So, but I've been like that ever since I was little. I used to put myself to bed when I was young, my mom said, and I'd be the first one up in the morning and put the cartoons on. So it just kind of I think life is like, I mean, your brain neurology, it's so strong and it's so like in depth of what the behaviors are. And I've just I think that's really what's pulled me through in my life really to date is I still have had tremendous discipline in really horrific situations. So I do credit that. And I hope I never lose that, by the way.
Well, back in '85, you were a doubles partner with both Chrissy Evert and Gabriella Sabatini. So,
Yeah,
what was it
not
like
bad.
playing beside those two legendary ladies of tennis?
They were so different. Like Gabby was just super, super shy, so talented. I mean, I love playing with her. She'd hit shots like just laissez-faire. And Chrissy was much more like, okay, go down the line. I'm going here, you go there, and talk before like each point. And yeah, I mean, I was really gifted in that sense that I got to play with a lot of great players. I got to play with Zena Garrison. I think I played once with Martina. Yeah, it was fun. I mean, I love doubles. It's easy. It's the singles. That's why I love the singles in pickleball because it's so demanding.
You reached a career high world ranking of 8 in the world. When you reach that level, is there more pressure on you in your matches, knowing that some of the other tennis players are going to be coming for you harder? And
Yeah, yeah.
how
I
did
mean,
you?
there is, but I really never got too wrapped up in it. I mean, I kind of was not your typical like. I mean, I was out till 2, 3 in the morning the night before the U.S. Open at the Palladium dancing. I
Oh,
mean, I would when I was with. I will tell you a little secret here. So when I was with Rob at the U.S. Open, you know, um, I mean, I'm not, no joke. I would sneak to his hotel, the Meridian, and I was staying at the Essex, and I'd run back at like 2:30 in the morning, and then I'd be on the court at 8 a.m. Like I really don't need a lot. I need much more sleep now, obviously, because my body's so broken. But then I just thrived on 3 hours. And meanwhile, Nick Bollettieri, my coach, was like the same thing. Like he would come into our room. He'd go out after practice at night, come in at 2 in the morning and take our drawers and open them if they weren't like perfectly filed. And, real militaristic background. And that's why he was so successful as a tennis coach, because he just never stopped. And his optimism and enthusiasm, and he set the precedent of being such a workhorse himself that really it just kind of feeds into your behavior. I know
So
it sounds crazy, but
your home country, Canada, inducts you into the Tennis Hall of Fame as the first female entrant. After all you had been through, what did that induction mean for you, and did it make you look differently on your tennis career?
well, I love Canada. I mean, God, I mean, unfortunately, I haven't spent enough time there. My family's up there, and I was sent away young, and then through the early years of my life, we lived in Toronto, but then my dad got involved with the USFL and, the WFL World Football League. So we were moving to Birmingham, Alabama. So predominantly most of my life has been in the US. Whereas now the stability of my foundation of my family is nested really in Toronto, Canada. And then, in the summer they go up to the cottages, etc. So, I think I'll feel my way back there to some extent, especially in the summers because it's so gorgeous. But I really am at heart Canadian. Like my best friends are still Canadian. We might not talk very often, but when we do, we're right back to where it was. So it's a good-hearted country. I love it.
Carling, and in some of your interviews that you've done, you've talked about your battle with bulimia.
Mm-hmm.
How
That was
did
my
it affect?
killer.
How did it affect your performance on the court, and how did you overcome your battle with that?
That's the worst disease there is, I think. I think any type of eating disorder, and I had it. I remember exactly when I started and exactly when I stopped. I started after Amelia Island, and I had Chris Everett 4-2 in the third set. I was 15. And I just remember all the pressure after that match, and a fellow former pro of mine, we were eating ice cream, and then she just says, "Oh, you can eat as much ice cream as you want because you just go and, expel it." And I could not do that. I mean, it was like not happening. But then there was a lot of pressure after that. It's like I stopped growing. I just learned to kind of get it back up. And the thing is, like with any progression of any addiction, it took my whole life, like literally. Can you still see me? I don't mean to be apologetic, but I can't see you anymore. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, it was around the clock. Around the clock. The semifinals, I got to U.S. Open. I woke up at like I went out to the Palladium at 2 in the morning. I ordered a pizza, a tub of ice cream, got rid of it, and got on the court. It was like 20 times a day. It destroyed my career, destroyed it. And then I remember after I had Holden, I was good throughout my pregnancy, really trying hard. And then after I had him, hormonally something snapped, and I had an anxiety attack going down to the Lipton at the time, which is a Miami tournament now. And I thought I was having a heart attack, and I literally had Rob rush me to North Broward Hospital, and I just came out right then and there on the table. I've been doing this, and like my husband's like, really? And I think people really did know, because I left the dinner table like 4 or 5 times, eating like gorgeous of food. I just don't think really then it was that much talked about, or that much kind of like nobody wanted to really be aware of it. But my weight, so I stopped. I had tried 1,000 times to stop with that eating disorder, not to no avail. And then finally, after I had that, what I thought was a heart attack, which was an anxiety attack, I stopped immediately. I went cold turkey, but the thing was I couldn't eat because I was terrified of eating and then having to like go to the toilet. So then my weight dropped even lower. So everybody was like, "Oh my God, she's like, really throwing up." In fact, I wasn't throwing up at all. And that's a deceiving thing about bulimia, is it actually puts you at a heightened weight, because like when you're expelling so often, it grabs onto any of the fat it comes in. And yeah, I mean, the whole eating issues I've always battled to some degree, and but thankfully it doesn't take control of my life anymore. I mean, really only pickleball does right now. I know, really, seriously, it's kind of crazy, but it's all good.
Well, Carly, you just mentioned it, the pickleball. Could you tell us how you got into pickleball initially, and what kind of drew you to the sport?
Well, it's funny. I play the Delray Tennis Center every day. I used to play 5 days a week with about like 30 different men, and we get email threads and who you're playing with. And the pickleball was back there, and I just poo-pooed it because I don't know, I just wasn't into it. And I was going through some of my own struggles at the time, really bad. When we first moved back to Delray, I was really not in a good place, and I was in and out of like treatment for my depression, and then it just got continually worse. And I just remember that, through this whole ordeal, the pickleball was always there, but I never still got into it. And then I did a complete sabbatical even from tennis, trying to get better. It wasn't until I got involved with the psilocybin mushrooms that was a game changer for me. And then I don't know, I walked back there one day with a friend, and I was hooked immediately. And I proceeded to just get better. Like the mushrooms really got me to a place where I could consistently do something daily, because I really was out of commission for a good 6, 7, 8 months of doing anything. And yeah, I just used that, and I would vape a little bit, and I did the mushrooms 24/7 for 4 straight months. Just dab, never did a macro dose. I just did micro dosing, and it reset my brain. And now I don't have to do them anymore or anything. And I've been 2.5 years, almost 2 years clean of medicine. So, those were the hardest things I ever got off in my life, were the meds. Alcohol was easy. I mean, even though I drink now, but that was a piece of cake compared to like medications. They take a long time.
So what's it been like getting to train with your daughters who are also playing pickleball?
I love it. It's like now I'm playing double the hours because I train for myself, obviously. And then I got to take them after school. It's a long ass day. Because they don't get out of school, and we don't hit the pickleball court till 4:30, and then we're out there till sometimes 7:30 at night. And I've been up since 3:30 a.m. So, if they're really serious about this, I'm going to really have to think about the homeschooling, or I'm not doing it. But they're very, very serious about it. My whole house, I swear to God, it's like one big pickle world. Easter yesterday, I had all the grandkids over. This is our Easter, okay? Have a big hunt in the morning at the house. Everybody's over. Next thing you know, they're taking lawn chairs outside on the patio, doing pickleball courts. One's on the wall. The grandkids are like, got all the rackets. Then next thing you know, we're going for 2 hours. My husband got all the pickleballs. We're drilling, and we're like, it's like I feel like I'm back in the tennis days, but with pickleball.
Excellent.
If you were to say this a year ago, I'd have laughed in your face. Now I'm playing an event. I'm playing an event this weekend. I'm playing event U.S. Open in Naples. I'm playing 3 events. I'm going at the U.S. Open at Flushing Meadow, and I'm playing with Vince Van Patten there. Hopefully I'll start singles there too. And yeah, you know what is so great about this sport? I don't even look at it as a sport. It's 100% a lifestyle. When I was out, because I don't know if you knew this, but I tore my ACL and 2 meniscus last year at this tournament coming up this week. So it'll be a year from this tournament last year that I blew out my leg. And I was in it really strongly for 8 months, practicing with great players, got a great support system. When I blew this leg out, I literally had more outpouring of people because they knew where I'd come from prior to pickleball with the depression, and everybody was terrified I was going to fall back into that because, of seeing what I've been through. But, it was the best thing that ever happened to me because I came back stronger. Now I work out in the gym every day. I can run 10 miles. The pickleball is easy for me. And I feel like my body it's only just a little after 7 months of the surgery, but I feel that I'm much stronger mentally and physically than I was before even. I was kind of a bit of a shit show. So, then nothing was organized. I just kind of I was like one of those pickleball rats. I'd play with anybody, everything, the whole thing.
Well, thank you so much for coming on and joining us today. We appreciate your time.
Well, thank you. It was a pleasure.
Awesome. Everybody check her out in the pickleball. Check out her tennis archives. You can find her. There was a great article that she even posted herself from the Palm Beach Post that we all got to read. Just you can learn up more about her. We want to remind everybody, hit like, subscribe, notification button. We'll see everybody next time. Take care. Have a great night.